Insights is kind of a gold mine. It's got all that information in there that you're looking for. These people are begging to buy from you, right? You just got to target the right people. You're going to have dozens of new insights to work with. You're going to know their gender. You're going to have lifestyle activities, pages to products they actually purchase. So if you see a page, and they're all purchased off this page, you can just target that page. You don't even have to use your audience anymore. You can use their income information, relationship status. There's just tons of stuff that you could go after. Facebook has gathered all of this information and is dying to reveal it to you if you just ask for it, right? And they're going to help you make more money. But you've got to ask for it. If you don't go in and use these tools that Facebook has devised, you're never ever going to be able to scale your ad spend and how much money you make on these things. So what can you use this data for? I know you're sitting there thinking, holy crap, this is a lot of stuff here. This is a lot of information to look at. And it's true, it is. But all of this data information can be utilized to create new highly targeted audience. Okay, for example, you may have originally targeted, and we do this, a group of that like survival skills. But then when we go to audience insights, we figure out they also like RVs, So maybe, targeting survival skills is a lot more expensive than targeting, RV owners. Well, if RV owners love survival stuff, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to go after RV owners, right? Because that would be a whole lot cheaper way to do this. So I'm not just increasing my money, I'm increasing, my audiences by doing this too. So the method 3 that you can do is to create lookalike audiences, okay? Now, lookalike audiences seems to be really confusing to people, so I really want to break this down because all a lookalike audience is an audience that is similar to the audience you're already selling to, but it's much, much larger. Because what Facebook does is they look at these, millions of data points and they go, well, people who are buying from you have all these traits, so we're going to go out and look for all these traits and build a big audience for you. Now, when you build these lookalike audiences, how closely related it is to your audience, as you see that little slider down there, if it's a 10% or 20% or 30%, whatever it is, or 1%, excuse me, 2%, 3%, as you increase that, what's going to happen is that audience is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, but they're going to become less like the audience that you have. You do have to have your pixel installed to do this, guys. You make a Facebook pixel. You make a Facebook pixel, which is a small amount of code from Facebook that you put onto your website. And, I get a lot of questions, and I don't mind answering them, but, one thing that's available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for your questions is a thing called Google. Okay, so if you don't know how to do something, if you don't know how to put code in, your Facebook page, you can Google it. You can Google anything nowadays. I was working on something in EverWebinar, which is part of Webinar Jam earlier today. And when they sign up for this particular webinar, they have like these thank you pages they go to, which basically says, hey, this is the webinar you signed up for. Here's the date and times. We'll see you at the webinar. But I wanted a different thank you page. I wanted one that said, hey, here's the webinar you signed up for. Here's another product you can buy since you signed up for my webinar. Because that way I can actually help pay for those ads, which is the video I did yesterday. And I contacted, EverWebinar, and I said, this is what I want to do. I want to send them to my own page. I've already built the page. I did everything. How do I put that URL in there so it directs to that? And the answer I got was, you cannot do it. It's not possible. You can't do it. No way, no how. So guess what I did? I went to Google and started looking around and figured out that there's sites that actually create URL redirects, and you can put a code in on your page. So what I did in EverWebinars, I went into the page and found the tracking code at the bottom, and I put that code in there to redirect it to my thank you page. And guess what? Lo and behold, you can do it. So even the tech team didn't know. So use Google, use Google every now and then. There's some cool stuff out there. You set up the pixel to track specific events. Now, an event would be a conversion. What's a conversion? That's if they buy from you. Okay, in other words, they go through your sales page and they end up on your thank you page. That would be a conversion, and that's where that conversion code would go also, guys. So if you're wondering, the pixel is different from your conversion code. but the conversion code you'd want, on that one, of course, is your sales code, which is conversion code, or an opt-in. So if somebody opts in for something, that's also a conversion, right? They've given up an email, and then they end up at another page. That page could be the information they were opting in for. And each time one of these events happens, Facebook places a small piece of code in the browser of the individual who took this action. These are also called cookies, and I'm sure you heard of this before. They got you cookied. Now, they only work if you are logged into Facebook, but most of us stay logged into Facebook all the time, so that little cookie is following us all around. Then what you do with the data compiled by that pixel is you use it to have Facebook create a lookalike audience. They'll actually extrapolate from your pixel and create a much huger audience that will closely match the people who took an action, okay? So that's all there really is to it. So I'm gonna go in there and say, people who ended up on this page, I want more of those people. Now, an example for that, like I'm selling my book, I would go to that thank you page and I would say people who ended up on this page, or I could also upload my book buyers to Facebook and say, I want another million people like these. These people are buying from me. I want more of them. Why is this cool? I think you know why. Why do you think it's cool? It's cool because this prevents you from targeting people you think are interested. Instead, you're actually targeting an audience who very closely match people who already took an action. It's amazing, right? So, Facebook has all this data. It's just sitting there. Facebook does all the market research for you, and they're figuring out who is interested in what you're offering. You don't have to do it. Too often, I see new people, they're advertising, they're trying to go, well, maybe I should do this audience, or maybe I should add this income to it. What about this job here? Should they be homeowners? Should they be married? Just sell some of your product. And you think about it, you're spending money in the beginning, really is just about buy data. It's to buy people who are going to buy your product. And maybe you're not going to be profitable in the beginning. But if you amass enough people who can buy from you, who do buy from you, you can then make these lookalike audiences. So all you're doing is buying information in the beginning. You're not trying to make money. Remember that Facebook has a gazillion is a number, right? I put that in there. Amounts of data on everyone, okay? So they know what is a better audience for you. They know what they love, what they hate, like if they're into country music, maybe they think veganism is weird. So, you could put all these things in when you're building your audience. They know where they live, if it's the West Coast, East Coast, wherever it is. Those are things that, they're just so invaluable to you. You've got to spend the money to figure it out though. Now, you may be a little scared. You may go, oh my God, I don't know how to do this stuff. This all sounds way, 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 way complicated. I don't even know how to put these pixel things on. Well, guess what? Here's how to install a pixel on your site. Go to that link. Now, this is a case sensitive link, free information. It's going to take you step by step through it. You may want to take a screenshot of this. You may want to jot it down. It's bit.ly. That's always the same on a bit.ly link. And then it's 2 uppercase K, uppercase S, lowercase z, uppercase Q, lowercase z, and then lowercase p. If you copy this link, okay, you will know how to install a pixel on your site. It's step by step by step, super, super easy. Okay, method 4. This is the last method I'm going to talk about, and this is expand to other locations. Don't be afraid to do this. You can expand your audience to other countries and locations so that you can actually profitably scale your campaign. Now, you want to look at what countries your offer will take, and if you're currently like promoting your offer to the United States, well, maybe you want to expand to Canada, UK, Australia. The top ones are those, okay? It's the United States, Canada, UK, and Australia. Those are the top 4 that seem to work best for us in selling things. So you do have to make sure you follow the guidelines above as you scale, okay? You want to use your audience insights to figure out what matters to these people in all these other countries, and you want to scale it slowly so you give Facebook time to optimize for your ad. You don't want to go to these other countries and go, well, I spent $10 in the US, so I think I'm gonna spend $1,000 in Australia. You don't want to do that. You want to scale up your ads in the US, and then you want to start over in Australia at $10 and scale them up there the same exact way, because there could be some little nuances and differences, and you're just going to be blowing your money if you don't do it that way. So got to do that. Alrighty. Now, If you want to run your international ad, you can use this link right here. This is called onehourtranslation.com. And when I say international, maybe you want to send it to France, or maybe you want to send it to, I don't know, Russia, wherever. No, wait, that's a bad one right now. Facebook and Russia don't go together. Don't do that. Don't do that one. But you could use 1 Hour Translation. Now, what 1 Hour Translation does is they take all your copy and they'll switch it to that language. So you don't have to know Chinese, but you can advertise in China. Here is what that site looks like. If you want to jot it down, it's 1 Hour Translation. And they do this for websites, apps, games, business documents, whatever it is, okay? You just click on launch your project. And when you do that, they're going to give you some pricing. This is your classic ones. These are language pairs. There's about 3,000 of those. And they do it for 0.087 cents per word. That's pretty darn cheap. And if you think about it, we don't normally have a lot of copy on our sales pages or whatever landing pages. So this is really cheap stuff. It doesn't cost you much to do this. Now there are pairings, exclusive language pairs. So I guess there's English Japanese and there's French Canadian. See that Dutch English down there? My dad grew up in the Pennsylvania Dutch country, and they speak a Dutch English. So if you want those kind of weird, funky things, it costs about twice as much to get those. This would be some very narrow targeting if you were doing this though. So how does it work? Super easy. You fill in the 1, 2, 3 wizard on your homepage, approve the quote, because they're going to give you a quote right off the bat, and you can print it out if you want. Your project then gets started, and basically that's all there is to it. All there is to it. That's all you got to do to get this stuff translated. You have to scale to win. Okay, guys, you cannot just increase your ads. You can't do that. You've got to do these other methods that I've talked about today. If you're not doing them, you're never going to be able to grow your business much, okay? You're not going to be able to scale. You're never going to make it big time level if you don't scale these campaigns the way I've told you. You're either going to end up staying small or never earning much money whatsoever. It's not going to happen. Or you're going to be trying to scale by just spending more money and increasing your ad spend, and you're just going to basically drain your bank account. So that's not the way to go about it either. Both of these above are, the adjective I picked was sucky options, okay? They aren't good. That's not the way you want to do it. If you're going to build a real business, you need to get a solid foundation, and you're going to need to know how to scale, with your hands tied behind your back. I mean, you're going to have to know these 4 methods. If you're not utilizing these 4 methods, scaling is not going to be for you. And the time to learn these is way before you need them. This isn't, you want to learn these things in the beginning so that, if you get an ad, you start an ad tomorrow and you don't know how to scale it, you don't want it to die out. You want to be able to do something with it. So